introduce somebody very important in our city. Our newly elected Mayor Brandon Whipple is here today. He is a huge supporter of this plan, and I wanted to give him a moment to say a couple words and introduce himself and say hi, and then I will kick us off. Mayor Whipple.
Well, good morning, everyone. I won't take much of your time. I just want to thank everyone for coming out. It's so important that we get feedback from the community and make sure that the stuff that's happening at City Hall is the stuff that you guys want to see out of City Hall. First, I want to thank James for the invitation for reaching out and allowing me to come and meet with you guys. I don't want to step on toes. I'm kind of the new guy at City Hall, so usually I won't show up to your breakfast unless I'm invited. And James has been great reaching out, making sure that I've been a part of the stuff that's been going on since before I've been sworn in. So with that, I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited that it took a while for me to find a parking place, which means it's well attended. I'm really looking forward to the future of Wichita and the stuff that we're going to do together. And it starts with plans like this, setting that vision, and then getting feedback from people like you to make sure that what we are discussing at City Hall and when we're in budget talks, we can take the priorities of the community and turn those priorities into action, and turn that action into results, not just for us, but for our kids in the future. So thank you guys for having me be here. I don't know how long this is going to be, to be honest, because James, I know, is kind of long-winded. Love the guy. But so I have a flight that I have to go pack for. James and I are actually going to D.C. To go sharpen our policy skills at the, is it the National League of Cities? So if I sneak out, that's why. Because I got to, of course, like any, I guess, person of my maturity level, I wait until the last minute to pack. So worth that. I was going to say like any child, but I don't think it's there. Anyways, so I look forward to kicking off, having James kick off this presentation and seeing what the future looks like. Thank you, guys.
So I'm only slightly more mature. I finished packing at about 1 o'clock in the morning this morning. So, Mayor Whipple, thanks again for being here. So I just wanted to kick off really talking a little bit how we got to this plan. I'm not going to talk about this plan a whole lot. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to take Q&A about this plan or anything today. We're going to let people, there are people around the room that you can ask questions of after the presentation. We want to make sure everybody has a chance to hear what has to be said, and then really get your questions answered in depth with people around the room about this plan. We don't want to stop conversation. We don't want to stop ideas from flowing. We just want to kind of keep, be respectful of everybody's time. That being said, so we had a neighborhood plan in this in this part of the city for quite some time, and I think it had run its course based on kind of some of the new realities that we were finding budgetarily with the city of Wichita, and with kind of the changing demographic in this part of the city, and where I think people wanted to see this neighborhood go. We definitely have still some issues with crime, although we're putting resources into the Broadway Corridor team. We're having issues with illegal dumping still in alleys and blighted properties and just so much stuff. And hopefully I get this right, because it really stuck in my mind. There is a difference between revitalization and investment, okay, or renovation. So renovation, the city can come in and it can put a bunch of new, nice-looking things. It can redo your roads. It can put up new light poles and benches and do all of that sort of thing. But that's not revitalization. Revitalization is when the citizens and the businesses in an area come together to actually make meaningful, deep change in their neighborhoods. And that's when you can bring investment and revitalization together. I think that's what you find in this plan. It might be oversimplifying it, Adam, but I heard that said, at a similar conference, by the way, to where we're going. It really stuck with me. And so when the city council decided that we were going to sell the Hyatt Hotel, there was a push within the council to give each council member $1 million for their district. So they could spend any way they want for district-specific needs or whatever the council member felt like was the most appropriate thing for that district. All the council members decided to do a variety of different things. I decided to do what people said was really, 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 really dumb and ask you what you want. Now, it's not dumb because they didn't want to hear your opinion. They said it was really dumb to do because I was going to get so many opinions and I'd never be able to make everybody happy. But I think we did a good job in really spreading that money and that wealth out in different ways. George, don't you think so?
Yes.
I got a yes from George. But one of the things I wanted to see done with most of that money are things that would last well into the future. So we did some pilot projects to see how we could change the way we do neighborhood inspection. And we did those pilot projects, and now neighborhood inspection is done in a lot different way, and there's some changes that are made to be more friendly to citizens, more educational instead of more punitive. And we're finding that we're getting a lot better results. And then one of the other things that we wanted to do was I wanted to redo this neighborhood plan. But it really couldn't be my idea to redo this neighborhood plan. We had one of the neighborhood leaders come to me and say, hey, we want to put a $50,000 grant in because we want this, 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 and this. And I said, well, let's think of this a different way. We can spend $50,000 and put it into one-time expenses and beautification, or we can take that $50,000, hire a high-priced consultant. In this case, they gave us a really good deal. We can get the citizens involved and redo a neighborhood plan that can last well into the future and hopefully affect generations of people. And the neighborhood leadership thought that was really, really a great idea. And so that's how we got to the place where this neighborhood plan could be made possible. So when you guys look toward downtown, and a lot of people in this area are like, why are we spending so much money downtown? Well, when you look toward downtown and you look at the Hyatt Hotel, think about this plan. Because without the sale of that, without taking money from the downtown area and placing it down here, this plan wouldn't be possible. Now, it's up to you guys to execute this plan and allow the city of Wichita to come alongside of you and make it possible. Okay? So that being said, I want to introduce Adam Barlow Thompson, Art of Soci Life, one of the neighborhood groups that said that's a great idea.
All right, thank you. All right, so my name is Adam Barlow Thompson, and I live about 4 blocks west of here on Waco Street, and am on the Neighborhood Association board, and I'm really delighted to be able to kind of MC the presentation today. We're going to have lots of different people come and share, but I'll kind of guide us through it. And so I wanted to start by giving you an idea of what this plan is and what it isn't. This is not a laundry list of to-do items for James Clendenin or even Mayor Whipple. And so instead, this plan is more than that, because I have a feeling they don't actually do their to-do list very well. Right? Thank you. Politicians appreciate the humor there. Instead, this plan it's about a vision of who the people of South Central could be. It's about us coming together and saying, we are gifted, we are skilled, we have talents and interests as a community, and we can go and effect change just by unifying our voices and doing it all on our own without the assistance of outsiders. This plan helps affirm a belief that we have at the Neighborhood Association and at the Neighboring Movement, the organization that I work for, that every person in this neighborhood is gifted, and that when we use our gifts and our talents and our strengths together, our community gets stronger and we as individuals experience wholeness. And that's what we're going to do with this plan, is we're going to try our best, not just to knock off the items in here, but to use it as a way of casting vision in the neighborhood for what we could be and what we could become. So there's a lot of things in here that we won't cover today because we're not going to just read this to you. Instead, we're going to cover kind of at a higher level the things that are in it. James mentioned that we met over the year of 2019 several different times with community members throughout South Central neighborhood to gather what are people interested in, what do they want to do in the neighborhood, what concerns do we have. And those things bubbled up into 5 themes. And the 5 themes are listed here, and you'll see them throughout the material. They are building social capital, maintaining and improving homes, positioning for reinvestment, and the experience of moving around the neighborhood and creating places for people. The way that we're going to do our presentation today is that after I've kind of introduced things, we will introduce each of these themes one by one, tell you the kind of overarching goal of that theme, and then I'm going to call out people who are doing stuff in that area right now. Because there are ideas that are in here, obviously, but there's also things that people in the neighborhood are already doing around those ideas. And at the end, we're going to give you a chance to then connect with those people so that you can add your giftedness, your interest, and your skills to the work that's already being done. Because we really believe that if the neighborhood is going to be transformed, it is not going to be elected officials who do it. It's not going to be city staff who do it. It's going to be the people who live in this neighborhood who make it happen. And so that's the direction that this plan goes that I'm really excited to be a part of. All right, so so this is how we hope to implement this plan as we start to look ahead. We've stolen this from community developers in other places who've had success. The first question we want to ask is, what can we, the residents of the South Central neighborhood, do ourselves? And we estimate, based on other communities, that 50% of what we want to be done, we can do ourselves without any outside help. All it requires is people in the neighborhood saying, we have each other's back. We are the people we need to make things happen. We also think that there are some things that we'll need some support on. We will do the work, but we will get some outside support. And about 40% of that stuff will fall in this second category, that stuff that we will do with some outside support. And then there's another category of stuff that we really just need somebody else to do because we won't have the resources or the ability to do on our own. So there's about 10% that we're going to unify our voices around so that we can ask for the city or investors or someone to be part of in that way. Okay? So the first one is building social capital, and so I'm going to invite Matt Johnson to come up and speak about this. And as he's coming up, I'll introduce kind of what it is. Building social capital is just the idea that neighbors can help each other when they're connected. If we're not connected, we don't know what we're good at. We don't know what neighbors need. And so this is about connecting neighbors in a meaningful way so that they can then use their relationships as kind of the thing that motivates and gets action happening in a neighborhood. And so Matt's going to talk about a project that is going to do just that.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So my name's Matt Johnson, and I also work for the Neighboring Movement. And looking at this theme of social capital, I was thinking about, social capital is this fancy phrase, right? What does that even mean? It's essentially this, that there is value in the relationships and the networks that exist for people. And that doesn't make any sense either, does it? So I was thinking about what's a specific example of this. So imagine a person who is rich in relationships and networks. If that person has a crisis in their life and they wonder, can I reach out, right? Is there a network of people that have my back that I can call on to help me out? And those people would gather around. Their social capital will help them persevere through that struggle, right? So it's a very practical, very down-to-earth thing, actually, even though it sounds really abstract. Now, the thing is that culturally in our society, social capital is on the decline. People have fewer and fewer networks of relationships. We're more isolated, it seems. And so what we want to do is an experiment to see if we can change that. And what we're going to do is a pilot project. So the boundaries of the neighborhood that the whole plan is for, I'm going to back up just a second, run from Kellogg to Pawnee, and from the river over to Washington. That's the south central neighborhood. This pilot program, we're going to just focus on the northern part, from Kellogg to Lincoln, and then from the river over to Washington. And what we're going to seek to do is to encourage folks to get to know the people that live closest to them, learning their names and finding out what they care about and what their gifts are. Because those are the foundational pieces of social capital. That as we get to know the people who live around us and we build those relationships, we have more people that we can call on when we have a crisis or we have a need. And we also can get together and help organize ourselves to do what matters to us. We can organize ourselves to do what matters to us. So if I want to get a group together to clean up the alley behind my house, if I know my neighbors, I can call out to my neighbors and say, hey, are you free on Saturday? I could borrow somebody's truck. Would you like to meet me? And we could clean out the alley, right? So we're going to work on this with this 8 Front Door project. On your table, you'll see a little description about it, this 1-page, 2-page document. It's going to take place this summer, so you'll see down below that we have 5 phases in the middle section there. We're just getting ready to get into that first phase where we're bringing our team together, and what we're going to do is hire 12 high school students who will work in that little area as a listening team. They're going to go out and meet neighbors. They're going to find out what people care about. They're going to ask questions about how people perceive the neighborhood and gather that information together. Then we move to phase 3, which is the block map challenge. So on your table you also have one of these block maps, and you're welcome to take this. The goal here is that your home is represented by that center square. And we want to challenge people to be able to fill in the names of the people that live in the 8 homes closest to their home. Now, you may know all of those folks, but most people, we find, only know the names of about 2 of their neighbors. And so the challenge is encouraging people to get to know their neighbors and also to find out, what are their neighbors good at? What are their neighbors' skills? What do they love to do? And so we're going to challenge those folks to build those relationships. And we're hoping that we'll do this with some block parties, some get-togethers to celebrate what people are finding, and ultimately build up that social capital so that we have those networks that we can lean on. And then when it's all finished, we're going to share what we've found. This is a learning project, so we're in the process of partnering with WSU School of Social Work, and they're going to help us do this so that we can see what are the challenges to building these relationships, what are the challenges to building social capital, and what can we do after this year? What can we do beyond to keep building those relationships and those networks in our community so that all the other themes that we're going to be talking about this morning, we can reach out to the neighborhood and say, how would you like to be a part of this project? What's your vision for this neighborhood? What skills would you like to contribute to help make things happen? So that's a little bit about the project, just a crash course there. If you do not live in that area, you are still welcome to be a part of the 8 Front Door Challenge. I would encourage you to do it. Take one of these sheets, and you can visit our website if you go to neighboringmovement.org. You'll find there more information about the 8 Front Door project and updates. But I would encourage you to try this out and just see what happens as we start to learn our neighbors' names and build those relationships. So, and like Adam said, we'll be around afterwards, so if you have questions or thoughts, I'd love to visit with you when we're all finished.
Okay, thank you very much, Matt. All right, so the first thing was building social capital. Once we are connected and we have relationships, we move into executing some of these other themes, the things that we want to do in the neighborhood. There was our 8 Front Door slide. There we go. Okay, maintaining and improving homes is the next marker in the neighborhood plan, and Janet Price is going to come up to share a little bit about the neighborhood cleanup. To give you an idea of this theme, we have a beautiful old housing stock in our neighborhood, and that comes with some great benefits, like I have the best front porch. It also comes with some negatives. My house is kind of falling apart, right? So we have to do a lot of things to maintain these beautiful old homes. So Janet's going to tell you about one of the projects that we do to do that work.
Hi, I'm Janet Price. I'm president of South Central Neighborhood Association, and I actually became involved in 2013 because I wanted to see our neighborhood resume our neighborhood cleanups. Our then president had enough health issues and was old enough that he couldn't be responsible for the cleanups any longer. So beginning in 2013, I resumed our neighborhood cleanups, and we've now had a neighborhood cleanup every year since 2013, and they have been extremely successful. We pulled in a lot of resources. My daughter teaches at South High and is in charge of their National Honor Society, so she brings me 30 kids to help with the cleanup. We use Emmanuel Baptist Church and Bethany Church as places for the dumpster drop-offs. And the first time, it took me 6 years to get through that neighborhood, the boundaries that you saw. So after that first 6 years, I cut the neighborhood into quarters, and we now do 1 quarter of it each year. And we're in the process of getting through our second round of completely cleaning the neighborhood. This year, our neighborhood cleanup is in October. We usually do them in October, 1, because I can get the Honor Society kids then, and 2, because the weather's a little cooler for us. So this year, the cleanup area will be from Harry to Lincoln and from Washington to Broadway. And because we're doing that area, I've added a couple other dumpster sites. So there will be a dumpster at the Child Advocacy Center, at Resurrection Church, and then the 2 that we normally have at both Emmanuel Baptist and Bethany. Bethany is also where we do our monthly neighborhood meetings, the 3rd Monday of the month at 6:30. Basically, what we also do is that 1 quarter is a walking route, and the kids follow the trash trucks and literally pick up everything people have put on their curbs in preparation for the cleanup. And so there's 2 different parts to the cleanup. I feel like this has been a real benefit. I became involved in that, and then in 2016, when our president was not able to serve anymore, I became president of South Central Neighborhood Association. So I've worked with the group through the process of developing a new plan. We did a lot of different meetings to try and set this up. I work with Maddie a lot on code enforcement and concerns in the area. We also have resources now that help us to get people some help instead of just filing a court case on them. So those are all things that we're working on to improve and maintain our homes in this area. Basically, theme 2 goals are to celebrate our neighborhood character, which, like Matt talked about, we have some awesome, amazing older homes in our area. Improve property conditions, improve and maintain the condition of the housing in general, make improvements to the streets to enhance our neighborhood, and broaden the mix of housing choices. So those are all things we've worked on. We've working with different groups on these things, but we really need to pull together what resources we can in our neighborhood to help do this. Maybe get some groups that are good with yard work or good with house things that want to sign up and be on those teams. So what I've done today is that one of the goals is to set a new business association. So there's sign-in sheets over there for if you're willing to be a part of our business association. We also have sign-up sheets on the other table that shows the different themes if you're willing to sign up to help work on one of those themes. So all those sign-up sheets are over there. I'll be here after the meeting to answer any questions that you have. Basically, when we did our plan, what we tried to do was give responsibility both to the residents and to things the city can help with. So each of our themes are set up on that basis. What we can do as locals, and one of those was our cleanups. It says spring and fall, but the city will only fund one a year, so that's what we've been doing. Reporting code violations, organizing volunteers, and launching an interfaith coalition. For the volunteers, when we were at the county commission meeting, Sedgwick County Extension Office heard our spiel about the cleanup or the neighborhood plan, and they contacted us and were willing to help set us up with some groups that might work with us. And so we've been meeting with a group called Kansas Pride, and they're associated with K-State, Sedgwick County Extension Office, the Kansas Masons, and I think that's it. So those four groups work with us as communities. They've worked in 70 different communities, small communities across the state. But they said they would willing to, because of our plan, they would be willing to work with us to try and implement some of the things in our plan. They provide volunteers, grants, and different resources to us. So that's been a real blessing for us as a group that's occurred since we've started the new plan. We've been meeting with them and are in the process of doing what needs done so that we can work with them to get some of the goals in our new plan done.
Great. Thank you, Janet. So like Janet said, if you are inspired by one of these ideas, you can definitely participate. If you inspired to do something kind of in that theme, but that's not this, we still would love to have you participate. And things like Kansas Pride gives us an opportunity. They have small grants that we can apply for to do some of the projects that are like that. Do you have a question, sir?
Yeah, are you taking questions?
I can take a question, yeah.
Okay, with the fact that we all got renewed valuations from the county recently, what's the feedback from your association on making all these improvements and how it's going to affect valuations?
Yeah, that is, I do not know. I read it in the Eagle today, actually, the article about that, but as far as things I've heard around the neighborhood, I haven't heard any conversation yet about that, so it probably will be coming, I imagine, right? So, yeah. All right, so the next one is positioning our neighborhood for reinvestment. This is a good theme in the plan. It shows a lot of how the neighborhood has been positioned as a investment site through the Opportunity Zone tax plan. The Opportunity Zone is a great thing, and the reality is most of us in the room probably won't do a lot with an Opportunity Zone. Unless there's some millionaires or billionaires in the room that I don't know about, we probably won't have a lot to do with an Opportunity Zone. But that doesn't mean that there isn't things we could do. And so I'm going to invite up Lydia and Rebecca, if you'd be willing to come up. Rebecca's very excited that I'm making her speak in public. What we want to do here is we want to highlight people who do want to start businesses in our neighborhood. And so we are highlighting 3 today. Brianna's Bakery, Nifa is the baker who runs that shop. She's not here, but she does. You have now already enjoyed her baked goods. And Matt in the back of the room is holding up some, that's right, good news for the prize. And Matt is holding out some gifts or discounts, coupons that you can get, that's the word. And so if you want to get a coupon for that, it's just on Harry in Waco. It's a little pink bakery, and it's a beautiful place. And Nifa, who run it, is wonderful, and she would be happy to see you. And so I'm going to let these ladies talk about the businesses that they're trying to start in our neighborhood.
I'm super nervous. I don't like talking in front of people, so I'm sorry in advance. So my name is Lydia Rodriguez. I am a neighbor here. I live in the big house on Broadway across from Emmanuel Baptist. My father and I moved into the neighborhood about 3 years ago with the dream of starting our own coffee shop. We see that there is a need for good quality coffee in the area. I mean, the closest coffee shop south of Kellogg is Starbucks, and it's all the way down there, you know. And so our ideal is to start this coffee shop, but we didn't really have a big plan in place. And so I started working for Neighboring Movement a year ago, and just started kind of learning what it is to be in the neighborhood, and they've kind of presented ways for us to start our own shop. And so our potential goal is to do a coffee shop project in the office of the Neighboring Movement to start out. And we just want it to be a place where people feel like they're part of the community. We want a space that is comfortable where people can hang out and just drink coffee. We believe that there is a place for coffee and community together, and so that's kind of our goal. Our hope is to partner with Brianna's Bakery to have baked goods in the shop, and then also partnering with Legacy Ministries to get some fresh roasted grown coffee that's local to the neighborhood as well. The coffee that you guys are drinking this morning is from Legacy. We brewed it, and it was freshly roasted as of 2 days ago, so very, very fresh and good coffee from them. So the goal is to work with Legacy and have some of the youth that they work with come and learn the coffee business, learn how to make the coffees, and learn how to run a business. And so that's kind of what our tentative plan is. We still don't have an open date because we're working on funding, but we're moving slowly towards that positioning in the neighborhood. So that's all I have.
Great, thank you, Lydia. And a little extra plug for Lydia. She does have an online funding campaign right now, and she has papers in the back that you have that link to it. And this is a place where you can help. And I will tell you, it doesn't. How much do you have to give to get free coffee for a year? $100, and you can get free coffee for a year. I'm just saying, I drink way more than $100 worth of coffee. So if you go sign up, you can give $100 to her campaign, and then you'll be on your way. All right, so I'm going to introduce Rebecca Moore from City Center Academy, right? Center City.
Okay, my mind is swimming, and I'm not a great public speaker, so bear with me. Some of you may remember Downtown Daycare Center. It was a nonprofit child care development center out at 944 South Topeka. And in 2014, the Methodist Conference closed that church, which was their location. And they contacted me because I sell real estate and said, find us a new location. And I said, oh, well, okay, we can look at property all day long, but you guys don't have any money. So for last 6 years, we have strategized, we have researched, we have prayed, we have cried. And I'm so excited because when we found our property in December of 2019 at 700 South Topeka, we had no idea that we could be a part of this. So, nonprofit fees are on a sliding fee scale, so think that, like the YMCA. You might have an attorney working out next to a kid off the street, working out next to a teacher. It's going to be that kind of a place, very diverse for children of parents who work downtown and families who live downtown. It's a $3 million facility. We just got red reeds back from our LK Architecture. We are closing on the ground, which is 1 acre in size. Chico's used cars might be a good, helpful to know where it is, just east of the Quick Trip on Broadway. We're behind that off Topeka. And we close on that property at the end of the year, and we hope to, we're raising funds like crazy, or trying to. Tim Holt is on our board. My husband Bob is a teacher at ESD 259, so he gives us all kinds of good advice. And then my mother, Betty Moore, was a founding member of Downtown Daycare Center in 1971. So, gosh, look at all the volunteers we have. Anyway, there are brochures in the back if you want to know more. We'll be here to answer questions, but we're happy to be here.
Thank you. All right. So we go to a lot of meetings, and one of the things that happens at those meetings is they say, well, we're just going to put more car lots down there because you guys don't know how to start any other businesses.
No.
And I am so excited for the next time they say that because that's not true. That is a myth about our neighborhood. We have people in our neighborhood who want to do things, and we want to lift those people up and support them. I have signed up to be a monthly giver for Center City, and I have got my year of free coffee already coming, and so I encourage you to find ways to do that as well. All right. The next one is, this one is the theme, moving around the neighborhood, or enhancing the experience of moving around the neighborhood. This is a theme that we don't have someone in particular to bring up for right now, but remember, the plan just got passed in January, right? So improving the appearance and function of the main corridors is a main theme here, and then creating infrastructure that will help us enhance travel by foot, by bus, by bike, all of those things, by car. And so we want to think about the main corridors that we have. If you live in the neighborhood, you'll know, Main Street is a great example of a corridor that is pretty tough. Neighbors on Main Street don't know the neighbors across the street because they basically live across the street. It's 90 feet wide, or 90. It's really wide. Yeah. And in the cars, I think the speed limit's 30, and they're going 50 or 60. So you can't really have a neighborly experience on streets like that. So how do we think about that and dream about that? Some ideas that if you are excited about, you might, I could point you to some other people who would be excited about it as well. We do have a growing number of people in the neighborhood who are bicycle enthusiasts. And in particular, we have an antique bike group that really seems to be excited. And so if you're interested in getting together with some of those people, Christopher is going to be the one who I'm going to ask to take questions at the end of that. And so you'll be able to meet him. And if you have more ideas on this, great. We'd love to hear them. Okay, the last one then is creating places for all. I'm going to invite up Catherine to speak to us a little bit about the Funston Community Garden that we're creating. But this theme is about establishing spaces where people can gather. In the plan really emphasizes green spaces. We don't have a ton of accessible green spaces in the neighborhood. I've kind of extended it as I've been talking with people to not even green spaces, but also like community center type places where people can be and just meet other neighbors in a common space. And so I'm going to let Catherine talk about the Funston Garden.
Cool. So the Funston Garden is great because it's something that was already kind of in the works before the plan came about, and it's just something that we've been working on slowly and putting together. And so the way that came about was that Clear Talk purchased the land to put a cell tower on, and then they were looking at ways to care for the rest of the lot, because the tower only takes up about a quarter of the lot, which is at South Broadway and Funston at that corner there. And so they asked the city, is there someone who might be willing to take care of that and do something great with it? And so the city referred them to Janet Price from the Neighborhood Association and said, is this something you would like to adopt? And so we said yes, this is a great thing. It's something beautiful for South Broadway and something to bring people together. It's one of these places for all. And so we worked in the fall. We had volunteer students from Northfield School came and helped us begin combating the weeds there. So we used a strategy where you lay down layers of cardboard and then top it with mulch. And so we did that. So if you drive by and wonder what you're looking at, that's what's happening. We're battling the weeds and we're building our own layer of soil on top. And then people who've driven by recently have said, what in the world are those piles of logs there? And so those are another strategy that we're using that's called hugel beds. And hugel beds, it's kind of an idea that you're planting right into a big bed of compost. And so we've partnered with Legacy Garden Works, and the crew there, the youth there, have been working on that. And you have piles of branches and logs, and then you top it with mulch and soil. And the thing is, they hold water well. It's like a giant sponge. And then they also allow air to get in the crevices between the logs that are under there. And then they just...
The plan.
So those will slowly break down over time and be something that we can plant right into. We will also have some raised beds down there. And so if people are wanting to participate as a group or as an individual wanting to adopt a bed there, that will be something that's coming in the future. We're also hoping for a mural to put that on the privacy fence that is around the cell tower to add some color and to represent the neighborhood. So we're looking for people to help us with that. We'll also have a banner soon so that when you drive by, you'll see that it will have our name on there and it'll have the website. And so we did just launch the website. It's funstongarden.com. And you can see the story of the garden there, and there's contact information. So if there's a way that you would like to connect and plug into what we're doing, that you'll be able to do that through the email there. So yeah, and again, I'll be here afterwards if you're interested in helping in some way.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. And yeah, I wanted to just give one more shout out because you've heard the name Legacy come up in several of these themes. And so Shelley Westfall, would you please stand up for me? So this is Shelley Westfall. She is the executive director at Legacy. And Legacy works with, they work with youth in the neighborhood, a lot of West High School students, and they have a Coffee Works program, a Garden Works program, and a Pottery Works program where they teach job skills and training, and then they also sell all of the things that they make as a way of sustaining their nonprofit. And so if you don't know about Legacy, what's your website?
Legacy-ministries.com. Real short and easy.
Legacy hyphen, not the word, but the dash, ministries.com. And so check out their site. If you have somebody you need to buy a birthday present for, or a Mother's Day present for, or a Father's Day present for, I encourage you to go to that website and you can order something from them right there. One of the big ways that we support the community is we spend money in the neighborhood. And so you hear me, going on that bent there. All right, so those are all of our themes. And we decided to do the Q&A a little differently. Because we want as many people to be able to chat as possible. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask some of the leaders in the room to go to certain places. And so we'll start with Rebecca and Lydia. Would you guys go back to the table here where your stuff is? And then I'm going to have Janet, if you'd come up here. Actually, why don't you go by to the table with the SCNA sign up? Janet, so of course Rebecca and Lydia will talk about their businesses that they're getting ready to start. If you want to know about the neighborhood association or the neighborhood cleanup, Janet is your gal. She is our president and our fearless leader, and so we're really grateful for her. And then Matt, if you would just kind of hang out back there where you are, that'd be great. Catherine, if you'd be willing to come up this way, that'd be great. Catherine will talk about the community garden and creating spaces. And then Christopher, maybe you want to come in this corner. Christopher is going to be available if you have ideas about how we can enhance our ability to move around the neighborhood. And then I'm going to stay here. I'm looking for people who might be interested in helping with or being a part of a business association for our neighborhood. And so if you want to do that, come and find me. So let me just review where everybody is. Oh, I'll do that, yeah. So I'll do business associations if you have interest in that. Christopher will be enhancing moving around the neighborhood. Matt will be the 8 Front Door Project and building social capital. We got in the back our business entrepreneurs back there who are willing to talk to you about what they're doing. Janet will be about the neighborhood association and getting involved in the neighborhood cleanup. And then Catherine will be about the community garden and creating spaces for people. If you have interest in any of those, please find somebody and chat with them before you leave today. One quick just announcement that we wanted to make for you that's coming up. These are floating around if you've seen them. If you have e-waste is like computers, old cell phones, old things with batteries in them that you don't know what to do with. This is how you get rid of them. March 26th through the 28th, you can take them to the Sedgwick County West Yard. It's out on West Street. And so if you want to get rid of your e-waste, find one of those flyers, it'll give you information. And at that, I invite you to take a plan with you, to contact one of us, to get some more donuts before you go, and make sure you stop and talk to somebody and at least introduce yourself. Thank you so much for being a part of our meeting, and we hope that we will work together soon. So we'll see you next time.
No, this is just about, yeah. Next. What you got?